Welcome back to Sound Bites, the show about talking with good people doing good things in the local food and drink industry. Today, my guest is Meghan Symonds. So Meghan is a pretty interesting person. By day, financial advisor with a major Canadian bank. By night and I guess weekend, host of a podcast, The Better Life, which focuses on mental health and supporting her listeners to be better people and the best that they can be. And now also the owner of the Halifax Charcuterie Company.
Yes.
So welcome,
Thank
Meghan.
you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
So born and raised here in the Halifax area?
Cole Harbor, yes.
Yep. Okay. And then I guess, you went to St. Mary's University, entered the banking world. But why the podcast? Because I looked at your site and it actually was really compelling to me because I think obviously we're much more open talking about mental health issues. It's so important for us to be able to dialogue about mental health and and this idea that you have of making yourself your best person. What's the inspiration about that? Why the podcast? Why was it? Were other people encouraging to you? How does that come to be?
The podcast was interesting. I always knew if I had a podcast that would be the name, but I'm a chatter. I'm official, like grade primary, chats too much, excellent in class, great grades, but just talks too much. Like primary, grade 8, just too chatty. So I figured, let's just channel that somewhere. If I can put it just into wherever, put it into the ethos, not so much an echo chamber, and just get my thoughts out. Yeah. But also a lot of people, I think that it's just them. Like right. Different things I've talked about, different episodes I've produced in the topics. A lot of people have felt like, oh, it's just me. So like that feedback is like, oh, I didn't know you knew that, or I didn't know that you went through that. I had no idea like locally that was happening, or just anybody in my life I could point to. So I think, coming up, I think we're like around Bell Let's Talk Day, and then also like just Black History Month, a lot of people there's no one specifically in our communities that are talking about certain things, although it's present. Yes, no one talks about it. So I'm like, why not just, use
get it out there.
Use what I have,
get people talking.
Yes, exactly. Get people talking, create a dialogue around it, let people know like it's a safe space, you're not alone. Let's chat about it.
I think, one, we're going to talk about cured meats and cheeses and things like that. But I mean, first of all, like I think, just purely because someone I believe in supporting mental health issues and talking about it, that this is a great thing that you're doing. But then let's go into the next segue of your life, which is charcuterie boards. So, I've been around the food and wine scene a lot longer than most. So I remember when charcuterie started to become hot here in Nova Scotia around 2004 or 5 with great old chef named Joel Roussel had the Catch Harbor House way back when. He was making great stuff. And then Martin Ruiz, Salvador at Fleur de Sel, and then Frederick Tandy at Ratno. And it's really helped build this kind of love affair local people have with charcuterie boards. So what compelled you to jump into this kind of business?
I guess I didn't know when back as 2004, but I didn't have a palate then, so I wouldn't have known about it. But a lot of it came from just like family gatherings and mostly girls' nights. So like I have a core group of like 6-7 girlfriends. We try to get together at least like once every 2 months or so to speak. So we're always like potluck style, bring what you want. Somebody picks a dessert, app, what have you. So I was just like, I'm bringing charcuterie. I'm gonna make a charcuterie board. And so it came down to November 2021. They were like, you're selling this. Like, stop BSing. Don't be scared. You can do it. Like, this is a business. Let's do it. So they came up with my pricing that night for my standard sizes. And then December 2021, probably 4 days before I launched, a girlfriend came to my house. We did some sleuthing online to find like a name. And we set up the Instagram and the email. And she's like, you're going into business Monday. Like, you can do it. And so I was strongly encouraged. Is the best.
Well, sounds like, you teach and talk to people about being their better life. Sounds like you have a good core group of friends that encourage you to live your life to the fullest.
It applies to me as well. Yeah, they're like, you can do this too. Do it.
So, and that's, I think for most of us and starting small businesses, it's the hardest step is the first one, and having that confidence. So So you've created, so you've got, how many tiers? You have a number of tiers almost. So you
to order, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the sizing is, there's a date night, so for 2 to 3 people. I'm not here to judge, so
Yeah.
date night, you can do that. Girls night, not just for the girls, feeds about 6 to 8 people. It's great for like family game nights, movie nights. And then I have the party board, which is like 10 plus people. And I say plus because like if there's other food, you might not like, 10 people wouldn't like necessarily feast on it, but if there's no other food, it's gonna comfortably feed at least 10 people. In my head, I'm always thinking like, you don't want people to go hungry. You wanna like, I want people to have leftovers. That's always the goal.
I think that's a Nova Scotian mentality.
So I'm just like, I want people to have leftovers. I don't want it to be skimpish with it. So those are the standard size I came up with. You can always order a custom size for different events. So I have an event this weekend with Elevate and Explore Black Nova Scotia at Benjamin Bridge.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
it'll be my first time doing like custom individual charcuterie boxes.
Wow,
so
fantastic.
usually it always starts like at this size, but again, custom orders or custom events, you can always reach out.
Great. So we love Benjamin Bridge, a great supporter of local community. I love what they do in terms of just about everything they do. I mean, they're just a great company in all ways. So, so now I know too that you started your journey about learning wine, and so you made the first step on that journey. What was the thought process there?
I guess to me, you can correct me if I'm wrong, charcuterie is like the niche subset within wine culture. Like, I mean, I feel like if you're eating charcuterie, you probably have a favorite wine, or I would at least like to think so. So to me, it makes sense. Like, I'd like to be able to expand the business beyond just like, maybe setting up a kitchen, having other people work in it. I'd like to know the correct pairings.
Right.
So
So hopefully down the road, I know Megan's registered for one of our first stage of a sommelier program, which is you're going to, by 10 weeks out, you're going to have lots of knowledge to pair. And we'll talk about accompanying, and that'd be a great kind of add-on to your business, to be able to give people the full experience. Say you can get these are the wines to go with it. So I know your podcast is at Better Life Pod.
Yes.
How do we find these? So if somebody's watching, and they want to say, okay, I've got a party coming up and I want to order a charcuterie board. How does one do it?
There's a few different ways. I try to make it like as accessible as possible. I'm not on Facebook. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to use it anymore. As a young person, that sounds crazy. I can't figure it out.
Well, I think it's Facebook is for people with my color hair.
I have a few too. They're hidden. But you can definitely find me on Instagram. It's at Halifax Charcuterie, spelled out in full. If you type in Halifax Char, it's going to come up. I've done great work for my SEOs to make sure I'm coming up first. You can find it there. The website, meganbetter.com/Halifax Charcuterie, spelled out. You can email me, halifaxcharcuterie@gmail.com, or you can text me. So my number is on the site. So or you can fill a contact form.
And how many, generally speaking, if someone's got a party coming, how long do you need? A couple days?
So right now the turnaround time is about 2 days.
Okay.
So most people for specialized events, or if it's more than 10 people, most people reach out at least a month ahead of time.
Okay.
I don't necessarily need the month, it's nice, but at least 2 weeks if it's a large order, just to work out allergies and delivery locations. But allergies is really the biggest thing, is that some people think they don't matter. I guess we might talk about what might be on here that might impact allergies later.
Okay. So I think, check out the podcast, because I think that, we all can do with more awareness about how to live life better. If you want to support a local business and you're looking for a party, check out meganbetter.com. Go to the Halifax Charcuterie portion of that site. Order yourself a charcuterie board and pick yourself up a nice bottle of wine. So, a nice Provençal rosé, a nice local sparkling, a lighter style red, all would be perfect pairings with this board. So, Megan, thanks for being on the show, and we look forward to seeing you in class.
Yes, thank you.
Cheers.